Good morning. How's everyone? I'm going to show you how I cut up my greens. I have two bunches of greens. I'm going to show you cutting both of them up. So I'm going to show you how I do. First I cut the bottom part off. First I like to take this part here, peel the little things off. And root these or plant these and grow more greens. It's just what I do with this part there. The other part is I open them up, briefly look, do want to make sure there's no signs of any pests. I take half of them, a third of them, all depends on how big they are. And I roll them up in a bunch, and I just start cutting them up. Cut them like this here. Nice sizes. Not too small, not too large. Stem and all. When I wash them, the stem, most of them will fall off and I'll throw them in the compost pile. And remember, I did cut a lot of the stem here off. So just continue to cut them up. Saves a lot of time, a lot of effort, especially when you got 10 bunches of greens to cut, or you really don't feel like cleaning greens, or cutting them up, but you have you have a desire for some greens. Also, you can cut them up real small if you want to. What I do, I show you. Instead of cutting them as low as I cut them, you can cut them as small as this here. Those who want greens cut up smaller. I find out when you cut them so small, they tend to shrink down a little bit more. And when you have a lot of people to serve, it doesn't help you any. You have to end up cooking more greens or a lot more bunches to get what you need. You can cut them any size you want, but I use my chopping board. At the time, we used to roll them up, cut them by hand. But the chopping board is a whole lot more efficient. You can cut more greens up like this way. So basically, in a short period of time, I've almost cut up a bunch of greens. So when people say, how do you cook all that food and how do you do all of that, I'm showing you how I'm able to process a lot of food in a short period of time. When you're washing the greens, you're always checking for bugs and stuff like that and stuff. So there's another time when you can go through them and check them. But these are very clean and no signs of bugs. And so I'm pretty sure that there's not any in here. If it had signs of bugs, I would look through them a little more thoroughly. In the factory, they don't have anybody there looking through greens. They send those greens through, they wash them up, and they turn around and they process them, cut them up, and bag them. And so for those who saying, I didn't do it a certain way, I learned everyone has a certain way they want to do things, or a different way to do things, and your way is not the only way, and your way may not be the best way. And so we should be always evolving and finding ways to make things easier for us. And so this is the way I do them. So in that short period of time, I've cut up, it's real time, a bunch of greens. Now I'll wash them. I have a video already on about washing them, so I'll put that video added to this. And so you all can see the process. And I made this record me washing them as I go. I'll be right back with you shortly. All right, I'm back. I thought I'd go ahead and show you how to wash one bunch of these greens, and then we'll move on. I already cut the greens up. Put water in the sink. Transferring the cut up greens in the sink. And we got some of these cut up quite right. Just tear them up. Like I said, when you start washing them, you'll find some stems, and take the stems out. And I'm just transferring them from the cutting area over to the sink. All right. We submerge them in the water. And while I'm agitating these greens, I'm going to fill the other sink up. And all I'm doing is just separating the greens, making sure that I have an opportunity to release the dirt that may be on them. So I'm going through all of them and just so much kind of stuffing them out a little bit, so to speak. So the dirt has a chance to fall. And you remember it took me less than 5 minutes to cut this bunch of greens up. So now we're in the washing process. My wife, when she washes greens, she rubs them together like that. As if she's washing clothes. So I'm like, that's efficient. Let them use each other to rub off the dirt. I used to just agitate the water when I was washing greens. Kind of like a washing machine would do. Get both of them fine. I don't know how you wash yours. This is the method that I use. That works good for you. Now what I would normally do, I would have 2 bunches of greens, and I will wash this one bunch in this sink, transfer them over. Then I'll put the other bunch in this water here to save on water. Then when I wash this bunch, I'll put it in a bowl and put the second bunch of greens in this water over here. And that way, you don't use a lot of water, waste a lot of water trying to clean the greens. And then once I do that, I drain the water from this bowl, this part here. Check the bottom of it, see if it's sand or anything grit. If it is, fill it back up with water, which it is going to be some. But all depends on how much it is. It will tell you how much you need to continue to wash your greens. And then I will take the bunch of greens from this bowl here, put them back in this water here. Take this bunch of greens, put it in the bowl, and then I will check the bottom of the sink on this side to see how much there is in the bottom. And I will continue to do that until there is no more grit or sand that I can feel or see in the bottom of the greens. So this time I'm going to take a pause and cut my other bunches of greens, and I'll be back with you shortly. All right, we're back. I just cut up 2 bunches of greens. I'm putting the second bunch of greens into the water. So now I'm agitating those, letting those submerge, and they're a little wilted, so they'll absorb some of the water as they sit. But I'm gonna work on the first bunch of greens now. And do the same thing I did to the first part of the sink, is to agitate them. They have absorbed from the water, swelling up a little better. That's good. So as the surface of the greens expand, you should have cleaned them. Using one hand, I end up injuring my pinky finger. So even though I can use it, it hurts a little bit. You hear in the background the pressure cooker from the oxtails starting to vent the air from inside. And like I said, I'm gonna do that for 10 minutes to make sure all the air is out before I put the pressure valve on it. Just gonna let them steam for 15 minutes until I think the oxtails are almost halfway done. Then I'm gonna add the stew beef to it. And so I'm over a little far from you all. I'm gonna bring it closer without causing chaos. And that's about as far as I can get you, close as I can get you. Let's see. All right. So again, agitate the greens. Try to make sure all the dirt falls to the bottom of the sink. Now we'll repeat this process 3 or 4 times until, like I said, the bottom of the sink comes out clean. Now I feel the greens are clean. Try not to, when I'm getting the greens out of the sink, to stir them up too much so the dirt will fall to the bottom. So I gently break the top of the water. Those are my first bunches of greens. They've been washed twice, for those who are counting. Now I'm going to work on these second bunches. And take those and place them over here in this side to conserve the water. And then I will drain this side, and when I get back, I'll let you see what I mean by debris and sand and grit at the bottom, hopefully, if there is any. And I'll get back with you when I move these greens over to the next side, and we'll be back shortly. All right, brought you back. I'll agitate it. Now I'm moving the greens over to the second part of the sink. So the second batch of greens. What I do is I go up on them, grab them from the bottom, lift them up, so if there's any dirt on the bottom, it won't agitate it or cause it to float. I keep doing that, going up under the greens, grabbing them, getting those that are on the surface. Now I'm going to let the water out, let them drain. While waiting for the water to drain, I'll agitate these. You know, when I started composting, maybe about 5 years ago, all my scraps, man, it produces good. All right, so now I'm gonna show you the dirt, hopefully, that you can see it. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me first flip the camera around so I can see what you see. Let's see. All right, I'm back. I flipped the camera around. And so we're gonna go in and we're gonna look at all the debris, the dirt, and the sand that came off the greens. And so what you do is you look for this each time you clean greens and clean water until you don't see any of that debris. And when you can't see in it, then next thing you do, you take your hand and you rub, and if you feel it, like I feel some there, I know it's still some sand, so you need to continue to wash your greens until you don't feel anything on the bottom. Then you know that your greens are clean. Now I'm not going to bore you with washing greens anymore, but you get the gist of it. This is the second bunch, and this is the first bunch, and I'm going to continue to put this first bunch over here in the sink after I clean it out and start the process all over until I find that there's no more soot or grit at the bottom of the sink. Alrighty. All right, we're back. This is the second bunches of greens in the second part of the sink. You remember I told you that a lot of the what is called the stem was going to fall into the sink. So now we have a lot of the stem that's in the sink that we're going to put on the compost pile. But I want you to look at the sink, if you can. You still see some debris. Now we have 2 bunches of greens in here, you know, but we only use the sink twice with water, and so we know that we're going to have to clean it again. But as I rub in certain areas, it's not as gritty as it was on the first one over here, which I've started a new batch of water, and the first bunch of greens, we're going to wash them over again. And so it's not as gritty, so I know that they're coming clean. But I'm going to take this and put it in my compost compost holder, scrap holder, where I can add it to the compost pile. All right, so we're going to rinse the sink out. We're going to start adding water. This one here has already been water added to it, the first bunch. We're going to extricate those and we're going to place them over here. And that would be 4 times that these first bunch has been washed. And then we're going to add this bunch back over to this first sink and wash them, then do it again, and they've been washed 4 times. Normally it takes about 3 to 4 times on collards, all depends how dirty they are. But with mustard, you have to wash and wash and wash. If they're really dirty, you can take them outside and rinse them off in the water hose first. And then bring them in and then cut them up. But we'll get back with you once the process is finished.